Hello and welcome to Golden Syrup Gaming Show episode 4. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Spew Rincon.
It's genuinely great to be here.
Thanks for joining me. And you meant to say my name.
I haven't thought of one for you.
Just call me
Jasper Knowles.
Jasper Knowles. I'm Jasper Knowles, and first up tonight, Spew, I'd like to talk about the gaming news.
The gaming news.
So we saw a video from RGT85, a guy who likes to shout a lot.
Well, yeah.
High-pitched shouting.
Initially I never noticed how annoying his voice can be, but it was you that kind of really brought it to light, and now I struggle to make it through a full 10-minute video of his without...
It's high-pitched and loud shouting.
It's just the relentless pace, I think, you know, and...
never breathes.
No, and there's just too many words, unnecessary words. Anyway, I think...
Dragging it out to 10 minutes.
Yeah, really milking it. There was a few weeks ago, I can't remember specifically the video it was, but he was talking about the Nintendo Switch, and he must have said Nintendo Switch about 500,000 times, and I might have to actually do an edit, find this video and edit it. I'm sure at least about a minute of his runtime is him saying Nintendo Switch when he could have just said Switch or not. We know what you're talking about.
It doesn't even need to say Nintendo Switch because that's all he talks about.
But it was just and then there was another one where he said this game quite a lot. It seemed like it was again something that would be quite an amusing edit if I could be arsed actually making it.
It's unlikely otherwise. I would say let's have a listen to that now. I mean, but you're not going to be doing that.
I'm not going to be doing that, and there's a reason for that.
But let's just imagine what that would be like if you did do it.
I know. Let's laugh. Well, if I do it, we'll put it here. But if not, we'll just imagine what it was.
1, 2, 3.
Class act.
So he was talking about Joycock drift.
Yes.
Joycock drift.
Joycock drift. Which is something that I've suffered from in all my Joy-Con. I've replaced every joystick on my Joy-Con at least once, and at least one of them needs replaced again. It's a persistent issue.
I've had endless trouble with my Joy-Cocks. I think they're just made to be disposable. Nintendo just wants you to buy new ones, get a different colour. It's like...
Which would be fine if they weren't 65 quid for a pair. And the thing is,
they come down in price.
I actually do like the Joy-Con. It's quite a comfy wee thing. I just wish that it wasn't totally shit. You know what I mean? It really ruins the experience.
So what RGT85 was reporting on was Nintendo denying the existence of Joycock drift.
Which is, I suppose they're a corporation, it's par for the course from them, but
I thought
that is fucking ludicrous to deny it.
Did they not previously already agree to fix it for free in America?
They did, which...
So how can they now deny it?
Exactly.
Strange.
Yeah.
Next in the news was... the completionist was broken by an uncompletable game, The Avengers.
Yeah, it begged the question why he even bothered to feature The Avengers on the completionist.
Well, there was a very good reason for that. He was paid.
Of course. But that game looks fucking awful, and I think that's...
So you wouldn't try and complete it?
No. To be fair, right, when Destiny came out, I totally was kind of on board with that. I did play that for quite a few months, and then went back to it when certain DLC came out, and the concept of a kind of looter shooter where there's always updates and that, like, if the core gameplay is good and, do you know what I mean, you get a good team of your friends together, then it is a really fun and satisfying gameplay experience. But the Avengers just look shit.
Yeah, we've watched quite a few reviews of the Avengers game. What's it called?
The Avengers.
The Avengers.
Marvel's Avengers.
But I mean, we've not been paid to play it.
We've not been.
So we don't have to play it.
We've not been paid to play anything.
Next up, we were watching a new video from Ahoy.
That's right.
Who's not posted a video for a while, but
see, this is all a while ago, like, so it's hard to remember. I can't even remember what it was about. I just remember watching it. But then I have been in a vomit-induced delirium for the past 2 weeks, so.
Hence your name, Spew Rincon.
Exactly. Would I be right in thinking that the Ahoy video was about some kind of video game box design, or like?
Yes,
that's right. It was. Was it 90s PC gaming boxes?
I couldn't tell you because I just wrote down. Ahoy provides the last word in video game box art.
Yeah, because
we'd
previously covered an outbreak of content.
It's been viral. Videos about video game boxes.
And I think even there may have been more since we last discussed that.
Well, there's definitely been one by Ahoy.
And maybe somebody else, but I can't remember who.
Well, it's certainly seems to be a popular thing to talk about.
But Ahoy is one of the finer examples of long-form YouTube gaming documentaries, isn't he?
And it was a great video about video game box art, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I said he provided the last word in it. Because really, after watching Ahoy's video on video game box art,
you don't need to watch anyone else's.
Because it's the last word,
exactly.
Isn't it?
And with the added bonus that he has a lovely brown voice. Doesn't he?
Very brown.
It's very brown.
So the last bit of news is I pre-ordered an Xbox Series S. Not X.
That's right. How are you feeling about that pre-order now?
Well, now I've had time to think about it and see the games available at launch. I'm not so sure about it. Well, I was thinking about getting it so it'd be a good system to play Cyberpunk on.
Well, that's what I thought. That's what I was going to ask. Is Cyberpunk not available at around the same time the Xbox launches?
Yeah. But they have announced a patch in the making for the Xbox, which they haven't announced for the PS5, I don't think.
But we would assume that it was a given.
It is inevitable. But I didn't want to play Cyberpunk on my PS4 because of the noise that the fan makes.
Yeah.
But I've since solved that problem by putting my PS4 in the cupboard and shutting the door. And now it's silent.
Would you still not rather wait to play it on like the next gen consoles where it's going to, be a bit more well suited to the hardware?
Well, it seems like it's very much a this generation game. But I mean, maybe that's just a way of selling the most copies. Because everyone... No, I mean, you get an upgrade for free, don't you?
Right.
So, I mean, it seems like it's been aimed towards this generation of hardware, but
I get what you mean, but generational hardware doesn't really mean that much anymore.
I mean, the PC ones obviously going to look better than the PS4 one.
Higher setting, the same game with higher settings, and you'd assume a better performance.
I wish I'd started the timer, because last time I said I should start a timer or look at the time when we start.
We should really have a clock,
and then we would know roughly how long to spend on each section of the show, because I mean that's all the news I've got. Do you think that's enough news?
I think we've covered some news.
Okay, let's move on to our deep dive this week.
I'm excited.
And this week we're going to take a deep dive into Austin Eruption. Now, you're subscribed to Austin Eruption, aren't you, Spew?
I am. And surprisingly, so are you. It's one of the only YouTubers that when I put on, you don't make some kind of comment about how you don't like them. In fact, you've only expressed positive sentiments about Austin Eruption. What is it that elevates Austin above the rest in your eyes?
Well, I've actually written some bullet points that tell you exactly that. The first bullet point I've put about Austin Eruption, I don't know if that's his real name.
I'd be surprised.
Bullet point 1, lovely guy.
Lovely guy. Yeah.
I mean, I've not met him.
It's a safe assumption, though, we think.
Well, I mean, you could really portray any character on camera.
That's true.
He could be
an insufferable bell end, but we think he's a lovely guy.
Well, I'd like to hope that it's the first. I wrote it down as my first bullet point, but now I'm thinking, well, how do I know he's a lovely guy? Maybe I should have written, it seems like a lovely guy on camera.
I mean,
at least
whatever way you cut it, that's the impression that we've got. We're not privy to any additional information.
If it comes out later on, allegations come out on Twitter,
I don't think anyone would hold it against us for speaking highly of him.
We could maybe
at this stage
we'll just delete this podcast.
Yeah.
At the moment, lovely guy.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes to light. I'm trying to be positive about Austin, and it's
kind of degenerated, isn't it? You've kind of sort of subliminally cast aspersions about him into the minds of the listeners.
Bullet point 1, lovely guy.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
Well, little doubt.
Little doubt about that. Who came up with these bullet points? The second bullet point I've got for Austin Eruption is relaxing.
Yeah.
I think you could watch Austin Eruption video in many different circumstances, and it would just suit the vibe perfectly.
And do you think it's like the tone of his voice, his pace, combination of these things?
Yeah,
can you pinpoint?
He has got a relaxing delivery, hasn't he? He puts you at ease.
Yeah. What was the most recent Austin one that we enjoyed recently?
I don't know.
Remember?
I mean, have you not written any bullet points about Austin Eruption?
I haven't. Again, the vomit-induced delirium for 2 weeks that I'm still not over.
Oh, I've remembered. The recent Austin Eruption video that we watched was it was like rare Wii games.
That's right.
Something words to that effect.
Yeah. The Wii, very underrated console. It's nice of them to shed a spotlight on some of the games that maybe
underrated, and maybe at the moment. But I mean, to say the Wii is underrated,
it's kind of, nobody thinks of it as a machine that had any serious games on it, where that's absolutely not the case. Like, some of the best gaming experiences I had were
Austin Eruption proved that to be not true by showing a game called The Munchables.
Yeah.
So that was definitely informative.
Yeah,
You hadn't
always.
played the Munchables.
I hadn't played the Munchables. I wish
Whereas
I had.
I pirated most Wii games and had probably played the Munchables for a few seconds before moving on to the next ISO.
I got into Wii piracy quite late, specifically so I could play Silent Hill Shattered Memories, and then it's like you say, after that, like, games kind of totally lost their value. I struggled to kind of maintain an attention span due to too much choice, perhaps.
So you feel like you can only enjoy a game if you've paid for it.
I think inherently you enjoy a game more if you've parted money for it, yeah. Like, emulation's a good example. Like, imagine back in the day if you had a SNES with fucking every game you could put, like, it'd be inconceivable. If you only had one or two games at a time, and you would play the fuck out of them because they were expensive, and you were a kid and didn't have any money.
And that was good.
It was good because you fucking valued what you got, whereas an emulator with 500 ROMs in it, you scroll indefinitely and then play something for 5 minutes, realise
But maybe
you've got other options, and then
maybe that's just you. Maybe you've got a short attention span.
No. Well, maybe. I'll grant you.
Maybe there's people out there, maybe some of our listeners even, who take a list of 1,000 games and sit patiently playing through each game. Like, for example, Dr. Sparkles from Crontendo.
That's right.
He's undertaken the task of playing every Nintendo game in chronological order, or at least NES game.
Yeah. Which really doesn't make for very compelling viewing.
Well, in your opinion, but you're wrong. Because I think Dr. Sparkle is, I don't know if it's plural, Sparkles or Sparkle. I think he's one of the best in the game. Yeah, I've said it.
I'd say that, yeah, it's more of a personal thing for me. I don't watch as much retro content as you, because, I don't know, especially NES game stuff. Like, the NES is just such an uninteresting console generation to go back to. And you can roll your eyes, as I can see you're doing, but tell me how often you've played your fucking NES classic.
No, I don't have a NES classic.
Well, what about the online thing on the Switch?
No, I don't like
never.
I don't
never
like
played
to
it.
play the NES games very much. That's why I like to watch Dr. Sparkle playing them.
So if playing the games is not really that appealing, then watching somebody else play them is even less appealing.
Unless it's Dr. Sparkle's brown voice. You already said that you like a brown voice.
I do like a brown voice.
And I'd say his is very brown.
Right.
Anyway, I feel like we've become slightly sidetracked from the discussion about
Maybe slightly,
Austin
but
Eruption.
before we move on, I think at some point we need to establish a scale of brown.
So most brown voice is ahoy.
Ahoy. And then I've not listened to Crontendo for a while, so...
Well, you better clarify what you mean by a brown voice.
Well, like people like Roger Moore have got like classically brown voices, or their voices have been described as brown. Even if that was by Alan Partridge, it's still a very apt and fitting description for that particular tone, that kind of deep English. It's hard to pinpoint, isn't it?
Well, if it's deep in English,
English,
Dr. Sparkles isn't brown. Isn't a brown voice.
Mm. There's a tone. There's a specific tone that I think we're trying to.
All I know about Dr. Sparkles is
The lower register.
He has a smooth, relaxing voice, much like Austin Eruption, who we were initially talking about.
That's right.
Taking a deep dive into.
Yeah.
The next bullet point I had written down about him was humorous. Did I say that one?
Yeah.
Oh, that humorous.
Humorous.
Not hubris.
Hubris.
No, humorous.
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 Yeah, he's a funny enough chap, isn't he? I think all YouTubers kind of have to have a certain.
But they're not like.
Humorous.
You get a little chuckle, a genuine chuckle from Austin Eruption. I couldn't say that, and we didn't say that about Kadikarus.
No.
Which reminds me, I thought we should apologise to Jim Kadikarus.
Why?
And his sister, Professor Juice, for any harm we might have caused previous episode.
I don't apologise.
So the next bullet point I had for Austin Eruption was well produced.
Yeah.
Now you can't argue with that.
No, I can't really.
Probably
fault his
be
production.
more interesting if you did argue with it. Give us more to talk about.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. I mean, the thing is, with YouTube, I find that I only really notice outstandingly bad production now. Like, there just seems to be a standard that everyone seems to be hitting that's really quite high, and Austin's no exception. That being said, not to take away from any of the more lo-fi content creators out there, don't have fancy After Effects skills.
Exactly. And the last thing that I wanted to say about Austin Eruption is he's very clean.
Yeah. Do you think he'll get sponsored by those fucking ball shavers at some point? Manscaped.
Is he not already? Was that not?
That might have well
what
been.
we were watching?
It might have well actually been that. Yeah.
A lot of the top YouTubers are shaving their balls these days.
It's a big thing with the kids.
And I'm pleased to see it. Not that they've shown.
I mean, they don't show their balls. That'd be grotesque. But I'm sure they're all very well sculpted.
So, I feel like you should guess how old Austin is, and I should Google Austin Eruption famous birthdays.
Right. If I was to hazard a guess, I'm going to say early 30s. 31. Damn it, Puss.
Here you go, I've got famous birthdays here. Social media stuff. You could probably learn a lot more about Austin Eruption just by heading over to famousbirthdays.com rather than listening to us.
But don't do that.
But I could read it.
Yeah.
And then
That's the whole point, you know? It's like, we're saving you the effort.
That's what Yong Ye does, just reads news articles.
That's right.
He's got 1 million subs.
Yeah.
Social media star who has gained fame for his Austin Eruption YouTube channel. He has risen to more than 17 million views for his gaming reviews, commentary and playthroughs.
Impressive. How old is he?
What was the guess?
31.
He's 30.
Close.
He used to be called something else, I'm sure, but I did have a search and I couldn't find out what it was. But I'm sure I was subscribed to him before he was Austin Eruption.
Yeah. Same kind of content. Yep.
Anyway, let's rate Austin Eruption out of 40.
Okay. What were the 4 criteria again?
Oh, let's rate Austin Eruption out of 60.
Out of 60?
According to our high-tech rating system.
Okay.
First up, personality.
Okay,
It's just my bullet points again, isn't it, really?
you go first.
Personality, I'd say 8 out of 10.
I'd give you that. I'd match that.
It's fucking right. This could get quite complicated. I think we'll do this every
I think we need to streamline this whole
8 out of 10, right. Humour.
Well, you
8.
yeah. I'll go 7.
Less impressed.
Maybe slightly less. I don't remember him for his humour.
Game knowledge slash insight.
Let's give him a generous 9 from me. What about you?
He brings to light a lot of interest in rare games.
Yeah.
And ones that I'm interested in, so I'll say 9. Cut of his jib.
Yeah, 8.
8 for the jib. I'm not really sure what that means, so I'll give him an 8 as well. Length and girth.
I'd say yeah.
You get 20 minutes to half an hour.
Aye, good.
Sometimes more.
Good length and girth. Let's give him an 8.
8 from me. And finally, production quality, audio and video. I mean, it is just my bullet points. Again, I just realised that looking at this.
Well, let's give him another 8 for that.
8.
Yeah,
It's quite
he's got a lot of 8s across the board.
solid across the board. Right, so
Gonna have to do some maths now.
calculator. So actually, I'm quite good at maths. I'll just talk that up in my head. That's 49 out of 60 from me.
Yeah.
And 48 out of 60 from you. Spew. So
That's
we
it.
should add them together, and then he gets a total score out of 120.
Of
Austin Eruption gets 97 points.
that's a very respectable score.
And that makes him our highest rated video creator
Thus far.
thus far.
Although we did only start the rating system
No.
last time.
Did we do it last time?
I think it was a bit of a half-hearted gesture, to be fair.
I think it's really the first time we've done it.
Yeah. Well,
Probably the last.
I like it. Let's stick with it.
Oh, you stuck with it. Oh, so I'm glad it went down well.
Yeah.
It's a popular section of the show. As is another popular section of the show. Jared, or Jarek. So, if it's the first time you've listened to the show, then I'll just briefly explain how this section works. I'm going to read out a quote from one of the popular YouTube gaming video creators. It's either Jared from Avalanche Games, Jared from Project COE, Gerard the Completionist, or Jarek the Gaming Dragon. Okay, Spew, who said this? This just looks like a generic military first-person shooter. The writing is awful. The game is not finished.
I would guess that would be Jarek, the Gaming Dragon, because he tends to cover a lot of first-person.
Yeah, right. You're right. Well done. It was from his Serious Sam review that he put out recently.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very impressed by the new Serious Sam game.
No.
Just looks like a generic military first-person shooter, he says.
Yeah. It did look a bit naff. Which is a shame, because I used to love the first one.
So that was a lot of fun.
It was, wasn't it?
Join us next week for another episode of Gerard, or Jarek.
That's a total winning section, that, without question.
Yep. So, that brings us on to... What have you been playing? See, I've mixed up the order of the sections this week, but
I like it, mixing it up.
See, what works best. So, what have you been playing this week, Spew Rincon?
I've mostly been playing nothing because I've been horribly ill. But prior to that, I had been playing The Sinking City, which I'm partially blaming for how horrible I've been feeling, because it's such an oppressively bleak and miserable game. But
so that's on Switch.
Yeah, but in all honesty, prior to me getting horribly ill, I was actually quite enjoying it. It does have a really, like I say, dark and kind of oppressive, gloomy atmosphere, but I found it quite compelling. You know, it's like a detective game, and it doesn't lead you by the hand very much. You know, it's very, like, even the simplest things like going to somewhere, like a location that you need to go to, it doesn't just put a marker on the map that you follow. You've got to like read the text to see where, like, so it'll say, oh, it's a house that intersects between this street and this street, and you've got to go and look on the map yourself and find it and put a marker in and then make your way there. And then when you get there, you've got to kind of, there'll perhaps be a crime or something, you've got to like investigate the crime scene and look for evidence and try and piece together the order of events and stuff like that. And there is a bit of combat involved, but it seemed to be quite light on that compared to, you know, the other elements.
So there was a controversy behind this game when it came out, or there still is?
It's kind of like an ongoing thing, I believe. Might be resolved now, but yeah, I think the people who made the game got involved with a publisher that wanted to basically, I think they wanted access to the engine that they'd made or something like that, and they refused to give it to them, so they pulled I can't remember, but it's just corporate bollocks.
But the game's no longer available on the eShop, or soon to be not available.
I'm not sure if it was the eShop or if it was Steam,
the physical
and other, platforms, but I think it still is on the Switch. I think it's still available on the eShop. I'm not quite sure what platforms it was getting pulled from, but it was kind of as a result of that I thought, well, may as well give it a shot.
It was reduced as well. It was on sale, and you picked it up for
like $8.99 or something.
So you think it's worth that?
Yeah, if you can get it for that cheap, definitely. Yeah.
And it's got combat in it?
Yeah, kind of. It's got gyro aiming, I believe, as well.
I love a bit of gyro aiming.
That sort of thing. But yeah, like I say, it was just unfortunate timing that I was playing that, and then, yeah, I haven't played it in 2 weeks because I've just been feeling awful, and the prospect of going back into that world just doesn't appeal to me at all at the moment.
And what else have you been playing apart from that? You were playing a bit more of the Mario 3D collection.
Yeah. Again, just sort of diving between the three of them. But again, it's been a couple of weeks. I haven't really touched it for a little while. Yeah. But what have you been playing
this week?
Jasper.
this week I have been mostly playing Gothic Murder Adventure That Changes Destiny on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Which is a visual novel game with very light puzzle elements. But I actually finished it. It just appeared in the eShop. It was a bit of a surprise. I didn't know it was coming out, but I saw that it was made by the same people that make the Jake Hunter games. I don't know if you've ever played the Jake Hunter games.
I haven't.
You might think Jake Hunter is a game where you go searching for Neds.
To anyone who's listening outside of Scotland, a Ned is a non-educated delinquent, a gentleman who generally sports a tracksuit, drinks fermented
and a
produce.
Jake is a Ned.
So for that very niche joke, you can thank Jasper.
Yeah, but in the past I've enjoyed the Jake Hunter games because there's a dedicated button for smoking a cigarette. Now, I don't smoke cigarettes myself, but I enjoy hitting the shoulder button L to smoke a cigarette in Jake Hunter, the games. And what happens when you smoke a cigarette is it's kind of like a hint system. So he'll tell you what's on his mind, giving you a hint as to what to do next. So it's quite a neat way of doing that. But anyway, it said in the description on the eShop that this new game, Gothic Murder Adventure That Changes Destiny, was made by Orange, the people who make Jake Hunter. So I thought, oh my goodness, I've got to play this, because I love the Jake Hunter games, which I played on 3DS and DS. So I picked it up without seeing any reviews, which is a technique that's backfired for me mostly anytime I've done that in the past. But I'm happy to say that this time it was a pleasant surprise and it was a great game. It was a budget game. I think it was less than £10, so it was pretty short, which is probably why I managed to finish it. But it had very nice music and sound effects, and that's what you need in a visual novel. I mean, it wasn't perhaps my ideal music. I prefer more jazzy vibes, but it's important that the music doesn't repeat too often. Yeah, because I find that very distracting, and that's something that some of the Jake Hunter games in the past have suffered from, which is a shame because they have nice jazz-based music, but sometimes I think due to the limitations of the hardware, sometimes it could loop a bit too much.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a problem with Gothic Murder Adventure That Changes Destiny, because like I said, it had nice music and sound effects. And I don't think you've played many visual novel games, have you, Spew?
No, I haven't, no.
I find them great to relax to. And it's like reading a book, but now and again you'll get a little sound effect, and you've got the music set in the scene, and then a little bit of art as well. So it's like a pick your own adventure book, like you used to read when you were young. I don't know if you'd ever read a book like that, where you read a bit and then it'd give you a decision to make what you're gonna do, and that's basically what happens in Gothic Murder Adventure That Changes with Destiny. And you can die in this game, which I've not played a lot of visual novel games, but to me it seemed quite rare. But it could have been annoying, but it wasn't annoying because it was really quick to restart and get back into the game. So I found it quite amusing. It was interesting to see the bad endings that you could get, and then you could quickly restart right from where you were and pick a different option and hopefully not die. It has a logical story, which a lot of these visual novels kind of don't. and it was all quite grounded, and that's what I like about the Jake Hunter series in general, apart from that you can smoke. The stories are quite grown up,
Right.
and you don't feel like an idiot reading it, which a lot of the time, I feel like I'm saying visual novel a lot, but a lot of the time with a visual novel, you could feel a bit like, oh, what am I fucking reading here?
Yeah.
Whereas with the Jake Hunter stuff, it was reminiscent of a game like Snatcher or Police Knots, where you think, this is good, like this is the kind of visual novel stuff that I enjoy.
So a solid recommendation from you then.
Yeah, there was no weird sex stuff.
No demonic cocks or anything.
Yeah, which is very rare for a visual novel type game. And another thing that I like about it, and it's common with the Jake Hunter games, is that you could press down on the D-pad to advance the text, which you might think is only a small thing, but it means you could use either hand to control the game, and another hand to drink.
Beverages.
Pat a rabbit. That's not a euphemism. Because there's no weird sex stuff in this.
Good.
It's just a gothic murder adventure that changes with destiny. So, apart from that, I've also been playing on the Nintendo Switch as well a game called Monkey Barrels.
Monkey Barrels?
I think that's what it's called.
And
it's made by the guys who made the Yoshi games. Good Feel.
The crafted games. The will-based...
The will-based guys.
And
so
is this a will-based game?
This game's not will-based. It looks like it's a 3D engine with a weird sort of pixel filter applied to it. But because it was made by Good Feel, I had no idea it was out. I hadn't seen anything about it, but because it was by those guys, I thought I've got to pick it up and support them because I'm a big fan of the developers and the work they did on the Yoshi's Woolly World and what's the other one? Crafted World.
Yeah.
I love both those games, so I had to give it a look. It's a twin stick shooter, basically, and you're a monkey, or you could pick a few different monkeys. And I haven't played that much of it yet, but what I have played I've enjoyed. It's just your typical twin stick shooter action, but I'll need to play more of it to give you a more in-depth review of it, but I just thought I'd mention it. Started playing that.
Honourable mention.
So it's on to controversy of the week with Yong Ye.
Oofed. It's that time.
And it's an exciting one this week. Yong Ye's got his knickers in a twist again because Spider-Man looks slightly younger in the new Spider-Man game than he did in the previous Spider-Man game. What do you think about this, Spew?
It does seem to be, on the surface, a cynical redesign to make it look more like the Spider-Man that's in the films.
Well, it's hardly cynical. I mean, what does it matter?
I think the objection, whether you agree with it or not, is that the Spider-Man in the films looks about 12 and the Spider-Man in the game looked like he was in his mid-20s, and this redesign makes the guy look like he's about 15 or something.
I mean, you're going to be looking at his bum for most of the game.
Alright. I kind of...
If you're in America, I don't mean a tramp.
It just seemed like the reason that they gave for changing it just seemed, I don't know,
A bum's an ass.
unbelievable. It was something to do with the voice, the performance better matched the voice performer or something. I'm not sure, but yeah. I
just find it funny the way that Yong Ye looks at the like-dislike ratio of a YouTube video in the comments and treats that as news.
Some kind of metric of something important. I mean, it is interesting, I suppose, to see how negatively some things are reacted to.
But the only thing you can tell from YouTube comments is just like how horrible society has become.
Yeah, best avoid the comment section of most YouTube videos.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How does Young say, oh, look what this YouTube commenter said, so this is somehow a valid opinion? YouTube commenters are like 5 years old, or at least mentally.
It's very true.
I've never commented on a YouTube video.
Never.
So that takes us on to our next section, which is one of my favourite sections, because we get to be a bit more positive than sometimes it could seem a bit negative on this show. It's the recommended small channel of the week, and this week I've been watching a lot of his videos recently, is Pixel Pursuit.
Oh, he's lovely, isn't he?
I would stand up and clap, but it would peak the levels on the mics.
You could put in a sampled applause here.
In fact, it reminds me, I was going to get you to just sing the theme tune at the start so that I don't have to put it in. Maybe you could do that now.
No.
Okay. Pixel Pursuit.
Yes. I was introduced to him fairly recently by you. It was his monkey ball content we were working.
That's how I found them, because people were talking about how Monkey Ball Adventure was bad. Is that the right name for it?
I think so.
Yeah, and then so I hadn't really seen much about that game, and Pixel Pursuit popped up when I searched for videos, and I couldn't believe the gold mine of grade A content that I found.
Grade A. Not greedy.
Grade A.
Grade A.
I've been going to bed with Pixel Pursuit every night since.
That's a disturbing revelation, but fair enough.
Watching these videos, I mean, to get to sleep. Not because he's boring per se, but he has a relaxing voice. I mean, this podcast at this point just seems to be about relaxing voices.
Yeah, but when you watch a lot of YouTube, a relaxing voice goes a long way. You know, it's so nice. He has a different kind of relaxing voice. His voice reminds me more of. Did you ever watch Ideal?
A little bit.
There's a builder in Ideal. He talks like this. He's like really soft spoken, and he's like ignore me. He's kind of like just really
It does sound like Pixel Pursuit.
I think he's actually played by a right wing comedian. I can't remember his name, but I think
Jim Davidson.
No. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he must have made some comment about Brexit or something, and then everyone hates him now. But yeah, it's that guy. He sounds a bit like him, but nice.
I mean, I've put bullet points again, but the first one is just this lovely chap.
Lovely chap.
I think we've covered that. He has a lovely chap, and he has spotlessly clean production.
Yeah. And I like the choice of games that he covers. Like I say, the Monkey Ball stuff has been good, and the Oddworld. I was watching some of his Oddworld stuff.
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Long videos, long content. It's good length.
Yeah. Half an hour, 28 minutes thereabouts.
Can I shock you, Spear?
Shock me.
He only has 1,000 subs.
That's a disgrace. Everyone gets subbed to.
What is wrong with the world?
I know.
This guy should have
Lots more subs.
hundreds
of thousands of
subs.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Pixel Pursuit.
Do it.
Now, if all of our subscribers, which is none, if they all subscribed to the podcast, no. The only thing I didn't like about Pixel Pursuit was that I knew disagreed, but I thought his cartoon didn't look very much like him.
No, it doesn't look anything like him. I'll give you that.
He's got a cartoon character, as have most YouTube people.
He's a bit more buff in his cartoon representation than he is in real life.
Yeah, looks like an action hero or something. Whereas in real life, he just looks like a lovely little chap.
Yeah.
So, subscribe to Pixel Pursuit.
And us.
And us. Maybe
us first.
Maybe Pixel Pursuit will give us a shout out.
Please do. Yeah, that'd be
Please.
Please.
Please do.
Please.
Please. Well, we're almost at the end of tonight's show.
What a ride.
What a ride it's been. It just leaves us with one section, and that section is Catchphrase of the Week.
I was waiting for this.
You've been waiting for it, and I've been waiting for it, and here it is. It's the Happy Console Gamer, and he loves to sign out by saying, "Anyways, guys, see you in the next one," or something like that. But the point is, anyways, guys.
Anyways, guys.
Now, is it just me, or should it be anyway, guys?
I think, yeah, I mean, people say anyways.
I've heard other people saying it as well. But why?
Are they wrong? Are they wrong to say that?
I don't understand. Anyways, guys.
Okay. I didn't think anyway was able to be pluralised. You know what I mean?
That's where I'm struggling. It's kind of similar to Dreamcast's guy.
Yeah.
What does he say again?
It'll try not to suck.
We're never gonna get better than that. I mean, this is poor. I mean,
it's a pretty poor catchphrase.
You think about the Dreamcast one, and that's gold. We're never going to reach those heights again.
I think there's plenty. We've not even started to plough the depths of YouTube catchphrases.
Anyways, guys,
we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. That was a good one.
That's just top class.